All right, so we're good. Are we live? I think we are. Hello and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. Tonight, we have our final quarter-final first leg as Chelsea travel to Manchester to take on Manchester City. It should be a really exciting game. Unfortunately, it is marred by the fact that we have to see these two sides play continuously throughout the month of March, Harry. But it does, in a sense, add a bit of nuance to these fixtures.
Yeah, we're back at it once again. Version 2 out of 4 of Manchester City versus Chelsea, and this is going to be a very, very interesting one. This is the least clear-cut for me out of the all. The League Cup final was always the priority, was always going to be the closest game, was always going to be the most nervy and cagey. But this one for me sits really weirdly because it's not as important as the second leg. It doesn't hold as much value as the WSL, where a win will get with 3 points. So this is a really weird one because tonight they're 0-0, and then it will be kind of rendered pointless. The only difference would be that Chelsea will be at home in the second leg. But it's important tonight, I think, for Man City that they, again, put on a good performance. They'll be very disheartened after losing the League Cup final, saying they probably were the better side at times in that game. They really gave Chelsea a good go. So to lose that in such a fashion as an own goal would have been very, very disappointing. But luckily for them, they've got 3 opportunities to redeem themselves in the space of 8 days. So let's see if they can do it. Starting with tonight, they know how crucial it is that they don't lose. If they manage to draw, if they can use home advantage to go and win this game, they put themselves in a really, really good position having to travel to Stamford Bridge next week. So vital, I think, for City to get a good result. For Chelsea, it's more favourable, I think. They'd much rather win the game and make it look comfortable. But if they do end up drawing or they do only lose by a goal to 0, I don't think it'll be panic stations.
Is a performance vital tonight, though, for Man City? I know they'll want to go as far as they can in this competition, but is the focus for City on the league now, given how their season's gone? I mean, looking how Cushing's lined up the side tonight, it does feel like the focus is on Sunday's game.
Yeah, and that makes complete sense. As the reason they sacked Gareth Taylor is because they were concerned they wouldn't finish inside the top 3. They've brought in Nick Cushing to do just that. So I think you're right. They will focus on the game this Sunday, and on that sense, tonight is more about the performance rather than result. Tonight is about building up so they can go and beat Chelsea on Sunday. They pushed them all the way in the League Cup final. They've got to go and do it today. They've got to go again and do it today. And if they do that, if they push Chelsea all the way and they get a result, or they don't get a result, I think it still shows that Man City are playing some really good football. So I think the lineup and the mental side of the game for City seems to be all building up to the WSL game. For Chelsea, They want to win them all, really.
It's that toss-up, isn't it, over financial objectives over sporting objectives? Because obviously every team wants to go and win trophies, but for City this season, I think they'll look at this competition and say they realistically can't win it, and their focus to ensure that they have the finance coming in next season has to be on finishing in the Champions League spots in the WSL. And that's the sad reality of the situation now, is that they're in a position where, because of injuries and because of how the season's gone so far, they don't feel that they can. It's seemingly they don't feel they can beat Chelsea over 2 legs. I mean, it could be genuine injuries to Khadija Shaw and Ayoba Firmino, but I find that very difficult to believe that they've both got, like, if they really wanted to win tonight, those 2 players would be on the field.
I think you're right. I don't think I don't think they're like fake injuries, but I think it's more precautionary. And I think that, as you say, with the second leg and the WSL game still to come, if it was a 50-50, I think they'd risk it. But this is the first leg of a Champions League tie. There's no point playing them if they're not fully ready to play. No point risking the end of their seasons for that sake. Indeed. But I get what you mean. I don't think they're going to lengthy injuries out. I think it's just precautionary knocks that, we did see, especially Khadija Shaw, kind of getting thrown about on Saturday. So I'm not, entirely surprised.
Yeah, and everyone's well aware that City have to win on Sunday.
Yeah.
That is now a necessity. I think if Chelsea were to win that game, they may actually confirm Champions League football for next season.
It'd be close,
because of the gap they'd create to Man City.
And it depends what Arsenal, Man United do. But with Arsenal at home to Liverpool, it could get difficult. But with Man United, especially at home to Everton, if City do lose at the weekend and Man United and Arsenal win, that's a 7-point gap. And at that point, it looks pretty difficult for them to get into the top 3.
Well, we'll talk lineups in a moment, but Nick Knack up to the stream says, "What's up, lads? It's good to see a Nick Knack.
Wow.
Good to see an old face in the live chat. Not literally. Ryzen says up the Chelsea. Good to see you, Ryzen. Askey says, come on, you Blues. That's what we love from the live chat. I want to see those blue hearts today and not from the Man City fans. But of course, you're welcome to join us whether you're City, Chelsea or neutral for this broadcast. Bernie Rose, I'm going for a comprehensive Chelsea win tonight. Also, how is Carly Telford a pundit and works for Chelsea? I think because her role at Chelsea is quite... well, in fact, she is involved in recruitment somewhat. So, yeah, that does baffle me. I know she's an ex-player, but I couldn't imagine many other sporting directors going and having an interview pre-match. But there you go. Ryan Chimot to stream as well with a classic high full stop. Good to see you, Ryan. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Let's get to that because the players are about to come out of the tunnel. I forget that we just only have 10 minutes before these later streams. So let's look at first the City side. Of course, we are at the Joey Stadium for this evening's game, and Man City, the hosts, line up as followed. In goal, it's Yamashita. She's definitely usurped Keating now in that starting role. A back four, unchanged from Saturday, of Kasparov, Pryor, Alexandri and Uwahabi. Midfield three with Jess Park coming back into the side alongside Hasegawa and Jill Roord. And then a complete, almost complete change in the front three. Kerry on the right-hand side, Murphy on the left-hand side, Mary Fowler leading the line. Lots of rotation then for City, but a lot of players still keeping their spray.
Yeah, it's still a very, very good side. They're still a dangerous team, but as you say, having to make quite a few changes, especially in attacking areas. But these are the games that Caroline is here for. Can she make the difference on the biggest stage in Europe? Can she spark Man City to pull off a really, really good result? Let's see what happens.
Indeed, and it feels like City have rotated as much as they could, given the injuries and lack of squad depth they've got at the moment. Looking at Chelsea then, 4-2-3-1 for Bonpastor's Blues tonight. In goal, it's Hannah Hampton. A back four of Bronze, Bjorn, Bright and Baltimore. A midfield pivot of Cuthbert and Kira Walsh. On the right-hand side, Beaver Jones. On the left-hand side, Lauren James. Kat Macario in the 10 position. And Myra Ramirez once again leading the line. So only a handful of changes, with Kira Walsh coming back in, who missed the League Cup final through injury. And Beaver Jones replacing Joanna Writing-Carnery, who I think had a difficult Saturday.
Yeah, it makes sense. You want to freshen it up a little bit. You never want to really play the same... When you're playing the same team back-to-back, you don't want to play the same 11 back-to-back because it just can become a little predictable. So Beaver Jones Walsh can add something different for Chelsea tonight. Kira Walsh, two-time UWCL winner, and she'll be hoping to use her experience to try and help Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea have got a wealth of experience, but a player now who has won the UWCL could be what they need potentially to go and win it themselves. But it all starts with tonight. They have to start strong. They have to, they want to build and they want to put on a good performance in this first leg.
Yeah, indeed. Right, shall we get into some predictions then? Because the players have taken it to the field, all wearing their warm-up tops, apart from Kirsten Kasparov, which I couldn't help.
No, she's given us to the young match ball in front of her.
That is lovely.
So all of the rest of them are selfish and they're standing there watching the kids get cold. But well done, Kirsten Kasparov.
I hadn't looked down. I found it amusing that they're all in their line-up tops and then she's there in a Man City shirt. But yeah, love that. Nice touch from Kirsten Kasparov. Predictions though, if you're watching along, get involved in the live chat, give us your score predictions. We'll start as always here in the studio though. Harry, give me your prediction.
I think Man City, similarly to the weekend, will be up for it and they'll put on a good performance, but I think Chelsea will just be too strong. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Chelsea win. I think the Blues will take the lead through Lauren James. It'll then be an equaliser from Caroline. I'm thinking a moment of magic, an absolute belter to give City, to level City in the game. But then I'll go, in the latter stages when it's a bit like City would really take this point because Chelsea are putting the pressure on, I will go for a goal from Myra Ramirez to win the game for Chelsea and give them the upper hand going into next week's second leg.
Fair enough. Rising with some blue hearts. Halo Demo says Chelsea. I had one with a slightly different message of Go City. And Askey saying 2-1 Chelsea or 2-2. I'm going to say 2-0 Chelsea.
Fair enough.
I'm confident. Confident Chelsea wins. I was tempted to go 3-0, but I think City will have enough to hold on. I don't think City are going to score today. I just think without Khadija Shaw, without Ayoba Fagino, they do lack a bit of directness. We'll see. Maybe Kerrine will step up. Maybe Fowler will play really well through the middle. Maybe Lily Murphy will step up. I just think, look at the Chelsea side, look at the City side. I just think Chelsea have got too much power, too much strength in this Chelsea 11.
Yeah, I do think that Chelsea will definitely. I think again I mentioned it in the video this morning. The home advantage doesn't have that as it still makes a difference, but it doesn't make an incredible difference when it's two domestic sides playing against each other. It's not the same as travelling away to a European giant. So let's see what happens. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think it'll be a tight game. I don't see either side. I don't see either side running away with it. But yeah, it should be a really, really good game.
Yeah, City hoping to bring the atmosphere. They have got a drum tonight.
Wow.
So that is fun. Not for the people sat in the press box. So apparently the drum is right next to the press box. But
that's poor planning. But yeah, it's really good. You can see there's a lot of the youth sides as well up there for Man City, which makes sense. That's what you do. Pack out the stadium, get the youth players in there, get them watching their idols, the players who they aspire to be, and maybe that noise will make a difference. There's also a lot of flags.
That's what they need tonight. Burnley going 2-0, James and then Micah Hamano off the bench. Natalie saying 2-1 Chelsea again. Nick Naglas James on the bench. No, Lauren James is firmly starting on the left flank for Chelsea tonight, but it will be Man City to get us underway in this UEFA Women's Champions League quarter-final first leg here at the Joey Stadium. Waiting for the referee's whistle, Jess Park from the centre will get us started. And before kick-off, both sets of players will take a knee in a stand against all forms of discrimination. And that will be Jess Park to get us underway. Waits for the referee's whistle. I think she's waiting for it to hit the hour. Jess Park knocks it back and we're underway here at the Joey Stadium. Manchester City versus Chelsea in this Champions League quarter-final first leg. Ball smash forward by Man City to start. Both their players missed the ball. And it's out for a Chelsea throw.
Always feels a little bit weird seeing two domestic sides playing against each other on a European stage. Doesn't have that same European feel to it, but it's still going to be a really well contested match.
Indeed. Indeed it should. Millie Bright sending it forwards. Myra Ramirez holding it up well. Now Kat Macario shimmies well out to this right-hand side. And now Chelsea can look to make this pitch wide. Bjorn goes wider into Bronze. Bronze tries to go up the line. That is cut out. Forced back to Bronze now. I don't know what it is out tonight, but it feels a less scary prospect for Chelsea.
Even I know the League Cup final is a final, but again, in terms of that's probably the reason why. But the League Cup final felt like it was always going to be closer than tonight was.
Yeah, because it's a fun. I think as well the Khadija Shaw effect.
Yeah,
but City are coming forwards now with Mary Fowler. Macario tries to get back in. Here's Caroline, takes aim from range. Not a bad effort from Caroline at all. Sailing just wide of the mark.
Yeah, not a bad effort at all from Caroline. And that's what I said in the build-up. She came to Man City to play in the Champions League and to play for a top side. And this is a big night for her to show that. Starting in the UWCL, if she can put on a good performance, if she can lead Man City to a incredible performance and to beat Chelsea tonight, that's exactly what she's here to do.
She's got to show that City were right to put her on one of the biggest contracts in the WSL.
Yeah.
Because so far, we've not really seen that. Chelsea thrown on this near side then. Sondi Baltimore just waiting. Thought she looked like she wanted to take that quickly.
The other key battle tonight is going to be between Maya Ramirez and that centre-half partnership. Again, for Man City, we saw it at the weekend, how Ramirez, especially up against Alexandri, had a really good game.
Beaver Jones, Bronze, back towards Aggie Beaver Jones. Delivers the ball in there. That's not a great cross. Will be kept in here, though, by Lauren James. Bounces on the touchline. Does well up against Kasparai here. Puts the ball into the area. Caught well by Yamashita.
Have Pryor and Alexandri swapped sides? Or is it just Alexandri does play as the left centre-half when they are
that is how they were in the League Cup final.
Just not used to seeing Alexandri play as that left centre-half.
Yeah, I think with Pryor there, though, you want Alexandri to... You want her to feel more comfortable, the youngster. But, yeah, it's not ideal. But yeah, a go-in, 1 GP. So Chelsea have never won the Champions League. Right, that is true. Arsenal, the only English club to win the Women's Champions League, which is an unfortunate fact. Hopefully, it won't be long until Chelsea claim their first title.
It's incredible to think that was 18 years ago now for Arsenal.
18 years since an English side, who I think most people would, well, I think a lot of people would claim is the strongest league in the women's game, but 18 years since an English side won the Women's Champions League.
Yeah.
And, potentially that is a factor. The fact that WSL is so strong, we've spoken about that before. I mean, the ref's been hit there, and obviously that'll be a City goal, but I mean, very hard right next to her. I mean, the ref positioning's poor, but she has just kicked it straight at the ref.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure why the ref's there.
No.
Yeah, it's not. It's just a weird scenario.
Fowler can see where the
that's it. Fowler runs towards the ref, and I'm thinking, I guess that she's expecting the ref to just move.
That's a poor pass out from Hasegawa. That'll be Chelsea throwing on this near side. As Natalie says, put a yet on that statement. Go N1 GP. Chelsea have not won the Champions League yet.
Oh,
and
Cuthbert
picked off in possession there. Ball through now. Chance for Gilroy bearing in on goal. Big save from Hannah Hampton. And that all came from quite a costly concession of possession by Erin Cuthbert.
Flag up on Roard anyway, but still, Hampton would have been none the wiser and a really good save. Cuthbert clearly feeling something when she lost the ball. She brings it down. Not sure there's much in it, to be honest. Roard does go too early, and it was offside, but still a good save from Hannah Hampton.
Indeed. Anubab Saini says, who has a better chance of winning? I think Chelsea come into this as favourites, but it's quite an even one, at least on paper. Everyone says the ref is the worst. She almost got it before. Ref's blocking the pass. Give her a card. Yeah, I mean, the positioning there's a little odd. She's definitely not the worst ref, though.
No.
That title has to go, in my opinion, to Elena Demetrescu. From what in the Women's Champions League. From what I've seen.
Stephanie Frappart was the fourth official tonight.
Yeah, that's an odd decision.
Well, you share the minutes round, don't you?
Yeah, but just give it Stephanie Frappart all the games.
Every game.
Here's Maya Ramirez up against Leah Alexandri. Now James finds Sondi Baltimore on the overlap, puts it into the box, cleared away by Yui Hasegawa. And that is a haphazard clearance from Caroline. Someone checked onto the stream, says, hi guys, I'll see you again. Excited to see the result. Well, yeah, it should be an interesting one, this. Great hold up from Ramirez in the box there. Pryor does well deal with her. Going to come out to Cuthbert, giving us a foul though on Pryor, which I'm not sure I see, but there you go. And that'll be a City free kick. It's another one where if you go near Maya Ramirez and fall over, you're probably going to get a free kick, even if there's been no contact. I mean, there was contact there, but I don't think that's a foul. Ball forwards. Good challenge from Bright. Now Bjorn.
Lovely knock.
It's a great ball to find Aggie Beaver-Jones. Beaver-Jones up against Ua Harvey now. Wriggles away back to Bronze. Back to Beaver-Jones. A touch escapes her and Alexandru steps in. And City have the ball and they can use this. Fowler had to drop deep to receive it. Good tackle from Cuthbert. Good intervention. And now Chelsea back in possession. Amir Ragragui, good to see you. Says, come on, you Blues, keep the blue flag flying high. Hopefully a 2-0 or 3-1 win tonight. Have you got Chelsea to win by a margin of 2 goals on an ACCA? Amir. But yeah, we'll see. Go when one says, Chelsea women are a bit like Man City men. They look so strong and can't win the Champions League. Took City ages to win one, even though they were being strong for years. Yeah, well, Chelsea have been close. I think the difference is, I mean, in the men's game, you have Real Madrid who are just inevitable. But I also think it's incredibly difficult to win the Women's Champions League given Barcelona's strength and given before that Lyon's strength. Especially because you're almost guaranteed to meet them. In the men's game, it's different because it's just chance that City kept meeting Real Madrid and then losing that game, or lost that final to Chelsea.
But also, it's one of those where Real Madrid, to say, were beatable by someone else. Whereas at the moment, you're in a situation where, I mean, this year's a little bit different, but over the last few years, Barcelona and Lyon haven't been beatable by anyone. And Chelsea have been the closest. I think
watching the first legs tonight and yesterday in those games, it still feels the same.
Yeah.
I mean, Bayern are a very strong side and Lyon were tested at times, but overall, it was a fairly comfortable 2-0 win. And Barcelona played a Wolfsburg side who should be difficult, and they trounced them 4-1. And honestly, it could have been more. And that is still a problem, I think, in the women's game, is that there isn't enough teams that are close enough, really, to give Barcelona a really good go. Here's Jill Roard. Takes aim from range, straight down the throat of Hannah Hampton, though, who does claim that well.
City have started well, has to be said. A bit more positive, look more lively.
Yeah, so being a knockout tournament, luck is more of a factor than a league situation. True, it relies on you being able to beat the big teams in the individual games rather than being, the strongest rather than just being consistent over the season. I mean, Chelsea in the last few seasons have often lost to City and Arsenal and United in the league, but it's their consistency against the other teams they've gotten through. This season, sort of in the flip side, they've won those big games, and while they've been consistent, haven't lost a game yet. They have dropped points to Leicester and Brighton. They are at the moment trying to give City every chance to score.
Yeah.
And Millie Bright having to bail them out there because I don't know what Chelsea are doing in the possession at the moment. City are pressing well, but Chelsea are making unforced errors.
Again, really sloppy start to the game for Chelsea, and City have started really brightly. And Chelsea got to be careful because those two things could combine to give City a lead hit.
It's a free kick in a decent area. Someone says Millie Bright just knows when to step up the pitch to make an exceptional tackle. Her game awareness is top. Indeed, I thought she was brilliant in the League Cup final. I think some people rightfully question her performances this last season, but this season she seems to have stepped up again.
Yeah. I think it helps it's not her and Buchanan at the back because Bjorn can cover.
Yeah, and Amir, you are right. Kira Walsh is a former Man City player. For making a world record transfer at the time to join Barcelona. Ball in from Mary Fowler, and Bronze has headed that out for a corner. Not sure that was necessary, and then
someone
smashing it into the architecture.
Organisation, someone's got to tell Bronze there that she can let that go. Because this is an unnecessary corner to give away.
Or just she needs to leave it.
Yeah, I don't think Pryor would have got round.
Yeah, it's communication there, but it's also that awareness from Bronze.
Yeah.
Corner now for City. And there's a train of Manchester City players here in the penalty area.
And the ref wants to have a chat with two of them. I think it's Alexandria and Bronze, is it?
Sounds about right.
No, it's Bronze. Oh, they're all back in there now. Ref's happy. I'm glad she stopped the game for that 10-second chat.
So Mary Fowler over this one. We've seen City from dead ball situations, from wide areas, be a threat this season. And Fowler will play it short. Here's Park. Delivers it into the box. Millie Bright gets head on that. Falls for Yui Hasegawa. Puts it back in the air. Strong header from Bjorn. Again up in the air from Park. Pryor touches it down. It's pinballing around at the moment for Man City. And they are now forced back to Kasparais on the left-hand side here. Now Fowler. Shimmies her way through. Walsh clears it. Falls to Hasegawa. And James will go out and put the press on. Now Rord. Wants to drive inside. Goes to Kirsten Kasparai. Good tackle from Beaver Jones. And Chelsea now will look to break. And it's a 2-on-2 for Chelsea. Kasparai recovers quickly though. Beaver Jones gets past to Macario. Nice adjustment there to take on that ball. Still going Kat Macario. Gets the ball out left to Lauren James. James up against Hasegawa. Takes her on, and that cross is blocked, but Chelsea can now put the ball into the box from this corner. Yeah,
City doing really well on the ball, but they've got to be careful they do not lose it like they did there and let Chelsea break away, because Chelsea will punish them. Good start from City, but Chelsea showing they have a massive threat on that counter. And now a corner of their own to try and pose a problem.
Yeah, indeed. And Chelsea have got aerial threat from these situations. Macario over this then. Plays it short into Sandy Baltimore. Gives it Lauren James on the edge. James chips it into the box. It's headed on in there by Beaver Jones. It does take a nick off a City player, and that will be a Chelsea corner.
Yeah, it was flicked on, I think, by Bronze and on to Pryor and out for a Chelsea corner. Yeah, the team's opting to play these short corners. Wasn't bad. It was a lovely little chip ball in from Lauren James that just made City think about it.
Definitely go off Pryor. Yeah. Not sure what City's complaints are for. Baltimore. This one just go into the box, and Yamashita does really well to catch that.
Yeah. Bold goalkeeping. We see a lot of those in swingers landing on top of the goalkeeper. Well watched by the Man City keeper.
Yeah, I mean, it almost looks like she's gone for an Olympico attempt there.
Yeah.
Sandy Baltimore, because there wasn't really anyone putting pressure on the keeper.
No. Worth a go. I've seen quite a couple recently.
Fowler, good tackle from Bright just to force her backwards. Now it's with Pryor. Yamashita finds Leo Alexandri, and Man City now will come down this left-hand side. Has Uahavi ahead of her, and she'll use Leo Uahavi. Now it's Park. Harvey. Now Alexandri. Harvey again. Going back well in there by Lucy Bronze. Now Viva Jones. Brought down in there. Bit of a clumsy one from Leo Harvey. That will be a Chelsea free kick.
Yeah, saw one just on the back of the ankle.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, takes her shoe off. It's accidental. Harvey doesn't mean to obviously stand on the back of her ankle. Running after the ball. Yeah, simple free kick.
But we'll have to wait for Viva Jones to put her
especially
back on.
Cold evening. It's going to take a while to get those laces done and put back on. T30 is 7 degrees. It's actually quite warm.
She seems to have worked it out.
Yeah.
Which is a relief. Yeah, good turnout. 4-man city. It's good to see, or at least that cluster's
a lot of youth.
Yeah.
Which is what you want to see. Which, to be fair, is what you see at most grounds, to be fair.
Someone asked, who is captain of City?
Alexandri. Well,
tonight, yeah. Usually it's Greenwood. But obviously now it's Greenwood. For City, so it is Alexandri stepping up with the armbands. But go and ask, are you two brothers? Yes, we are. There's not much to say on that. Yeah, we are.
I was waiting for the unfortunate.
I thought about saying it, but it would be nice tonight. Cuthbert. Now Natalie Bjorn. Hampton. Chelsea. Patient. In possession. Bjorn. Now Kira Walsh. Finds Bronze. Tries to knock it past. Leo Harvey. Harvey though. Managing to recover there. Here is Ramirez. And Chelsea now can come forwards. Ramirez burst past Harvey. Tries to cut it back for Macario, and Price sees that back to the goalkeeper. Took a nick there off of Alexandru, who seems somewhat unsuspecting to it.
Brilliant from Ramirez.
It end up in the hands of Ayaka Yamashita.
Blast past Harvey, tries to reverse it back, and is it recovering Hasegawa just gets a touch on it.
Hasegawa, sorry, not Alexandru.
Does well to stop that reaching Cat Macario. But Chelsea haven't quite got going yet, but that's showing signs of it. Get the ball into Ramirez and get her powering past people.
Bright with a good header. Alexandru touched it down to Harvey. Beaver Jones puts the pressure on quickly. Now looks to beat Harvey. That referee with a nice gesture there to show that
Penguin
that was
demonstration.
Not handball. Bjorn. Kira Walsh. Now Nasty Bjorn. Ramirez has Harvey clawing at her neck.
Literally like jumped onto the back of her.
Yeah, just grabbed her.
Sometimes that's what you got to do to handle players like
that. Right. Hampton. Chelsea just starting to dictate the tempo a bit in this game. Right. We'll send that long, and that's something Ramirez will chase, but that will bounce through to Ayaka Yamashita. But he said that Harvey foul was definitely not sneaky. No, hardly the most subtle one we're going to see. Just jumping on the back of Ramirez. Ryzen says, love the way Aggie is shooting her shot here, figuratively speaking. Yes, I'd like to see her actually shoot a shot. But yeah, it's a good opportunity for Beaver Jones.
I'm guessing UEFA don't allow the Joey sponsorship, do they?
Why?
Well, because I think tonight will be called the Manchester Community Stadium, but also on the big banner that usually says the Joey Stadium, they've covered up the Joey with blue stickers. If we get into the centre of the pitch, you'll see it. On the far side, we're going to get there. Yeah, it just reads Stadium. And they've put like a blue cover over the Joey.
What is Joey? It just sells baby clothes. Why you UEFA got a problem with baby clothes?
I hate baby clothes, UEFA. It's weird though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird they sponsor a stadium because I had no idea who they were.
Yeah, I still don't.
I'm not gonna go and get a pram now. But there you go. Sorry, Tony, on the Man City women's team. It's just now lost the sponsorship after I pointed that out.
It is a youth stadium, isn't it? So maybe that does make a little bit more sense.
Well, unless the under fives are playing. I don't think it does. And it's just a Joey behind the goal. I'm guessing that one they can't do much about. I don't know. Don't know why. Unless that one's just damaged. It's nothing to do with UEFA hating babies.
That is a weird one. Oh, Ramirez
was caught there, I thought, by Alexandri. But
feeling something.
I thought she was caught in the face.
Alright. I can't tell. Her reaction tells nothing.
Yeah.
She might be.
James ambitious attempts to try and win the ball back there with a slide tackle. Doesn't quite get there. City coming forwards now. Roared. Here's Kasper on this right hand side. Caroline tries to touch it to Roared. That's too quick. Has to go though, picking up on the loose pass from Kira Walsh. Now Caroline. Caroline tries to drive inside. Can't. Here is Bright. That's a great pass through the lines into Aggie Beaver Jones, who comes narrow. Now Walsh. Back to Bright.
Ooh.
Phillies is probably one of the dodgy sponsorship deals they have. $8 billion per season to sponsor the women's stadium. I think most of their dodgy companies like oil and stuff, they're not push chairs.
Maybe it's like the front or like that.
All right. They have to Breaking Bad Car Wash as their next sponsor.
City working hard. First 20 minutes, bit similar feeling to the cup final, to be honest. City are definitely having the ball and playing some nice stuff, but Chelsea are...
Chelsea look more threatening when they come forwards. Baltimore flicks it to Ramirez. Has to play that ball and does find Beaver Jones now. Yamashita off her line. Beaver Jones wasn't in a position to shoot. Uehabi does recover well. Beaver Jones cuts inside. Strikes it straight at the Japanese goalkeeper. Got to be better, surely. And there was a flag offside anyway in there. Beaver Jones appears to have gone slightly too early. Here's Yamashita. And City now can play. But that was the first real chance of the game for Chelsea. And she was miles onside.
Well, at least they delay it so that if she had scored, it would have counted. Jill Rod's but I think Jill Rod's been more involved in the first 21 minutes tonight than she was in the whole of the cup final, by the way.
Yeah.
She's looked really sharp, getting on the ball.
She lost every duel in the final.
Yeah. It was scrappy. It wasn't kind of a game, but tonight it is like intended. It's a good fight between two sides, but it's classy. It's good football. Whereas the cup final was on some absolute rock solid pitch, and it was a bit more of a fight.
I think the pitch just was churning up if you stood on it.
Yeah.
It's like playing stuck in the mud. You don't have to stay still for too long because the pitch you'll just sink into it. Here's Lucy Bronze holding the whip high for Chelsea. Great ball forwards from Hannah Hampson to pick her out. Now Beaver Jones. Macario to Bronze. Back now to Walsh. Out wide to Beaver Jones. Darts inside well. We'll run at them now, Beaver Jones. Great drive. Tries to cut it back. Blocked by Uehabi. Good stuff though from Aggie Beaver Jones. She looks lively tonight. Corner out for the Blues.
Yeah, really tidy from Beaver Jones. Back in the team and back with a point to prove. And she does the right thing here. Does really well to skip past Murphy. And then to try and beat Alexandri with a burst of pace and she cutting it back to the penalty spot. Erin Cuthbert was charging in unmarked. So the ball had got through. Would have been a very, very good opportunity for the Scot. But a crucial interception from Uehabi.
Indeed. And now it'll be Chelsea over this corner. Sandy Baltimore whips it in. Flick on in there, but it's City heading back to their own goalkeeper and Yamashita claims it well.
And goes to ground. Quite interestingly.
Slowing it down.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd mind. I don't think either side would mind being 0 tonight. Chelsea, I think, will want to get a goal because it's just strengthened their position. Obviously, Chelsea City want to get a goal, but I think if this game was to end 0-0, both sides would be relatively content with that. Here is Yamashita, sends it forwards. Goes to Bjorn.
City haven't had as much control as they did in the cup final, but if anything, it has helped them a little bit because it means they're getting more chances.
Now Lauren James. Nice footwork. Well, look to be fouled there from Broad, but it's not given. And now City can break. Caroline driving into a central area. Now Harvey.
Too slow.
Poor pass picked up by Bronze. Not able to keep that in.
Got away with that, Man City. That is too slow across the park. You're breaking away, and you know players. Caroline's jogging, just casually just lays it out to a Harvey who plays a really poor pass. Got to be quicker than that, City.
Yeah, throwing now for City. Murphy to Fowler, Alexandri, now Gracie Pryor. I have to say we've not seen much yet from Murphy. Here's Kasparai. Coming forwards. It's a big occasion though, to be fair, to throw her into.
Yeah.
Here is Pryor. And that's going to run through. Lauren James, not really sure what she's doing with it, but she has held it off Caroline, and Caroline has just kicked her and then claims she's been caught in the face. I'm not really sure what her complaint was there.
Yeah.
She grabbed Lauren James, kicked her, and then claimed she got punched.
Yeah, initially Caroline does well to put up a good fight, and then just grabs her.
Not the greatest attempt there.
No.
She's not going to get an Oscar for that performance. Try and get the free kick turned her way. Aggie's determined to earn her spot. Indeed, and I think that's what, you listen. I was listening the other day to something Emma Hayes was saying halfway through, not last season, but the season before last, where she was on loan at Everton, and then there was interest in the January window from Everton and West Ham.
Oh,
Taking her permanently. Chelsea City have won the ball high at the pitch here. Fowler. Well, what
a waste.
Overhit.
What a waste.
Opportunity.
Millie Bright is very lucky because Chelsea are messing around with it once again. She gets caught on the ball and Fowler. If she doesn't overhit that, very good chance for Manchester City.
Yeah, indeed. Just again, it's sloppy from Chelsea.
Bronze is
fortunate. It's
playing
overhit.
on.
Fortunate it's overhit by Mary Fowler. But yeah, as I was saying on Viva Jones, I saw something with Hayes, and she was talking about how there was interest from Everton and there was interest from West Ham on a permanent deal. And they obviously the question was to Aggie, do you want the move or what do you want to do here? And she said she wanted to stay or something like that. Or it was asked to Emma Hayes, but she'd seen it that Viva Jones wanted to compete for a first team spot, and that's what she liked about her.
Yeah.
Which there was that always, she may not be that star talent, but she wanted to compete for a starting berth. And she liked players who had that hunger, had that desire. City putting a ball into the box. Chelsea will get away with that one though, and now Viva Jones looking to break away. Finds Ramirez with the pass. Wants to turn Alexandri. Good tackle from Alexandri. She just stood off her.
Yeah.
Didn't let her spin her. And then when she does turn, make that interception. Shot from Murphy. Saved well by Hampton.
This game's open. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. City haven't got the control they had on Saturday, but when City have all the ball, they don't really seem to do much with it. But when it is an open game and have the opportunity to come forward, they seem to get a lot more shots away and be a lot more dangerous. So the fact that they haven't got as much control is actually helping them, I think. Yeah. Another decent shot there, another decent save from Hannah Hampton. She's been called into action a few times tonight already. Chelsea just got to be careful. Just trying to overplay it a little bit. Hampton,
they keep trying to play out from the back and it keeps not working.
Go the direct way. And
here is Hasegawa. Tries to slot it through. Fowler now. Darting forwards. Takes aim, and that is saved well by Hannah Hampton. She'll clutch onto it, but she's being called into action a lot in the early stages here.
Yeah, again, way too easy for Fowler to receive the ball back to goal, spin, and just run into space. And again, Man City doing well. This is something we haven't seen from Man City either, which is getting shots off early, pulling the trigger from outside the area. They've got the players who can score from there, but yeah, good save from Hannah Hampton once again.
Here's Baltimore. Tries to give and go. She runs blocked by Kasparai. City back in possession now. Roared. Park. What one should have ran off pitch there?
Yeah.
Got it. She came back on. Ryzen says, we're not a fan of the weird font on the City kits. Oh, no. Their cup competition's font is awful. Like, if he wants clearance there, hitting a City player. Chelsea just can't get out at this moment.
Yeah, really good spell from Man City.
Murphy there, dispossessed by Beaver Jones, out for a City throw.
Half an hour through already. Blown by. Harvey throw for City. Again, they're in this game. But can they get a result from it?
That's the big question.
They're working it well. They're testing Hampton. They've already had 3 shots on target. Which is really strong. Cushing seemed to have implemented a very more just positive approach. Have a shot, pull the trigger.
That's right. And Baltimore wins that ball back aggressively but fairly against Caroline Walsh. It's good counter pressing as well from Man City tonight. They're making it difficult for Chelsea to play out. And they're making sure to try and win that ball back when they lose it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Right. Now Hampton under pressure from Caroline. Bjorn. Here's Bronze. Not Macario, sorry. Ramirez. Nice football here from Chelsea, and they've played through City's lines quite easily. City, they're recovering back quickly. Chelsea trying to come forwards. Bronze on the overlap. Holds up the ball well. Now Macario. Beaver Jones. Bronze. Now here is Millie Bright. Knocks it wide. Baltimore holds on to it well. Pass inside to Kira Walsh. And now ball into Lauren James, who made a great run into this wide space. Has Cuthbert in support. Will put the ball into the box. Macario heads over. Big chance for Chelsea.
Yeah, moving it much better. Really good stuff from Chelsea. And that's the vision that Kira Walsh has to pick out a lovely ball into Lauren James. Swings into the penalty area. And Macario throws herself at it. It's not a bad attempt. Just heading over.
I just need to get a bit more level with it, a bit
Yeah.
over it. Just got under it. Sent it sailing over. A good chance for Chelsea is wasted.
Better from Chelsea, much better. They got the ball down and played, and it worked very nicely.
Well, Harvey, and that bounced up and hit her hand, but Chelsea had possession, so advantage is played. Here is Myra Ramirez. Trying to come forward, it's brought down in there by Harvey, and that is given as a free kick.
I think Ramirez has done the very best to make the most of all of that. But it's smart, wins herself a free kick. Yeah, it's really smart from Myra Ramirez.
Yeah.
I think the things that she doesn't get fouls for.
But the thing is, Harvey stuck her leg there. She's given the referee a decision to make. And Myra's done her best as well to sell it to the ref.
I can see a lay back here to Lauren James, and she just fires it in from the edge of the area. There's a very plausible free kick routine here. Surely she has enough time to hit it. Roll it into her, let her hit it first time. Let's see what Chelsea decide to do.
Baltimore puts it into the box, heads it away, will fall for Lauren James, who is under pressure, goes to Cuthbert, tries to play to Bjorn, who struggles to bring that down. City, though, clearing it. Was getting volleyed there by a City coach.
Now, I can't tell whether he purposely missed that or whether he's just a terrible footballer.
I think he purposely let that go.
Swing and miss. I think Nick Cushing will be pleased with what he's seen in the first 33 minutes.
Ramirez holds that ball up. No idea. The ball's in play and they decided to cut the bomb past door.
Now the ref.
How are we now at the halfway line with the City pro? We're back to Von Pastor.
Thank you, Karen. Shane Barstow's ditched the Chelsea blazer that she wore for the cup final.
Yeah, but you have to. You
She
can't.
better bring
You've
it.
got to have your special blazer for cup
She better bring it
final.
back if Chelsea gets the Champions League.
We saw Chelsea's Emma Hayes' big blue coat.
That was class.
Yeah. Ball forwards. City unable to keep that in play. Out now for Chelsea. Thrown on the far side. So City had their spell. And Chelsea have ridden it. And then they got out. And now suddenly, City are struggling now to get out of their own half. Again. No, Chelsea do now have the ball in their own half. Bronze. Down the line towards Ramirez. Has kept that going, Mara Ramirez. Brilliant run here. Has support in the box. Could just go alone. Boxes it. And it's behind Lauren James. In front of Macario. And Botman wasn't quite coming onto it quick enough. I feel like Botman's got to make that burst.
Yeah. Got to see this is happening. Yeah, Macario and LJ made the same run.
Fair, she's not really in the picture.
No.
So, yeah.
One of LJ or Kat had to hang back there.
Foul under pressure from Bright, which does well to lay it back to Hasegawa. Now Rord, who almost gets picked up in possession of a very good touch back there to her defence. Yamashita. Now Pryor, almost got that caught in her legs. Does well though to get out of that and knocks it past Cuthbert. Here is Kasparai. Ball in behind, looking for Caroline. Can she deliver now? Ball in. Headed away in there by Bjorn. Kasparai. Beaver Jones lifts it forward and Lauren James heading that back to Sandy Baltimore. Now Lauren James. Walsh. I have to say, every cloud does have a silver lining. I think Gracie Pryor, coming in these big matches, has looked incredibly comfortable at this level.
Yeah, one hell of a player.
Giving her that opportunity is very useful.
Yeah.
She looks so much more assured of herself in centre-back than Alexandri does. And there she muscles Ramirez backwards. I mean, every time we've seen Alexandri, as against Ramirez, as shown a minute ago, she ended up falling over on her arse, and Ramirez was bursting in behind with the ball. Beaver Jones.
Really good.
To bronze. Back to Aggie Beaver Jones. Now Kat Macario inside to Kira Walsh. Walsh lacking options. Goes back up wide to bronze. Tries to poke one back to Walsh. Doesn't quite come off. And now City can look to change the focus of this attack. Fowler to Rord. Coming down this right-hand side now. Kirsten Kasparow making up ground. Cuthbert chasing her down. Rord here with James on her back. Pryor. Rord. Now Hasegawa. Good football from Man City. Here's Harvey. Park now. Goes wide into Harvey. Now back to Jess Park. Nice little flick on there from Murphy towards Harvey. Crosses blocked there by Agaviva Jones. They try and play out. Bronze. Chips that towards Ramirez. Who again does well to physically beat Alexandri and tries to knock it past. Alexandri will get back in though. And goes back to Yamashita. Did well there to stick with her, Alexandri.
Yeah. Well balanced game. Exactly what you want to see from a game of this calibre.
Yeah.
You feel like it could go either way. I can't tell you who's going to score next. Maybe no one. It's that close.
Pryor sends the ball forward, cut out there by Sandy Baltimore.
So I think this is what the League Cup could have been if Chelsea hadn't scored so early. But that's why Chelsea win trophies. It's because when the games are tight, they go and score in the 7th minute and don't even allow games to become even like this. Because by this point, Chelsea were 1-0 up and Maya Ramirez had just gone through on goal and probably should have scored.
Yeah.
But tonight, still 0-0, and that's the difference. Chelsea haven't managed to find those glorious opportunities yet.
Walsh. Beaver Jones. Walsh. Tries that out well. Now Macario. Ramirez. Nice touch and turn. Tries to take it past. Alexandra does well though. Still battling. And
That's going to line someone's going to free kick.
okay, it's good to say. Like a Chelsea throw. Harvey back now to Yamashita. Now Pryor. Back to Yamashita. Pryor carrying it forwards. That's how to play it for a Chelsea throw. And Boboso doesn't look confident.
No.
After 40 minutes here, and I'm just going to be so. It's not been a vintage Chelsea performance.
But yeah, in the League Cup final, she looked frustrated with the way Chelsea had played. She didn't look happy. I think at the moment she does just look a little bit hesitant. She knows that this isn't as comfortable as Chelsea as they'd like.
As Phil says, Chelsea's a winning machine, but they don't dominate or look impressive right now. Since they went to break, there's not been many good performances, but they do just find a way to win. But even so, they didn't find a way against Brighton. They didn't find a way just before the went to break against Leicester.
Macario, a poor pass there. Thought that was going to get punished more than it has, although City are still coming forwards.
Lauren James does get back in and win the ball, though. Now it's Millie Bright. James. Just can't get out of there, Bright.
I think
that for a City throw.
The most frustrating thing for Bournemouth right now will be Chelsea in possession. Really poor. They've been really poor on the ball. With the ball, it's just been too sloppy.
Yeah, and that, for me, yes, there's been some individual errors, but they've also been... They just don't seem to have options.
Yeah, City are doing very, very well. It's up to Chelsea and Bombassaur to find a way to play through that.
Yeah, that's sloppy between Caroline and Kasper to give away a free kick for that, for offside there.
Just lazy. 1-2 with a throw up and ends up just knocking it back to it.
So yeah, as we are approaching half time here, still all square, deadlock is still intact. Here's Macario. Cuthbert parked there, hounding her to try and win the ball back. Now Bright into Sandy Baltimore. Finds Macario, who's dropped in to receive the pass. And I'm not sure who she's tried to play to there. Poor pass from Kat Macario. Just in no man's land. It's not just misplaced. It's utterly bizarre. I don't know where she was. Who she was trying to pick out. Nowhere near Bjorn. Nowhere near Bright.
Just a random one. She finds herself really deep there as well.
And she dropped in because Chelsea just don't have options in there at the moment. But yeah.
Oh, that ball from Murphy is more of a cutback. Jess Parks arriving on the penalty spot. It was more of a cross. Yeah, Park was frustrated because she lays that in front of Park. She's got a very good opportunity. The City train lines up around the penalty area once again.
They wait for this ball in from Mary Fowler. They go short again. Train, it's just a decoy. Here's Kasperai, who puts it into the box, but it's going to bounce out for a goal kick.
Yeah, right idea, wrong execution.
That's the second time they've tried it and it's gone pretty much the same way.
But just had to lay that in, would just take less off it. You're going to float it in, put less behind it, and just let it drop into the far post. Instead, she floated it and drilled it, which just doesn't work because it goes out of play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only a couple minutes left of the half. A goal now for either side would be pretty crucial.
Kasperai. Now Rord. Good tackle. So again there from Millie Bright. Jumping and knocking out of play. Kasperai limping a bit after that one, but nothing wrong with the tackle.
No.
Waiting for someone to drop in and want the ball now.
Really good hold up from Rord. Again, Jill Rord.
Fowler.
Whoa.
Brilliant turn there to open up some space to put it into the box. Headed away by Bjorn. Wild attempt from Ua Harvey. Doesn't quite come off, and Beaver Jones takes the ball off Murphy. Now being chased right into this corner, Beaver Jones. And has managed to get a throw.
City ending the first half strong. Again, Jill Rord. What an improvement from the League Cup final to tonight.
Yeah.
She's one of the best players on the pitch. City have the ball once again.
Right. Roared. Back now to Gracie Pryor. Pryor knocks it into Kasparai. One back by Chelsea. Now James. Baltimore. James. Holds on to that ball well.
Giving handball against James.
Yeah, it's looked to have hit her arm there. Like it's too casual. Yeah.
Yeah, it does look a little bit laboured. I have to agree. Like that pass which went nowhere near anyone. It's because she's just kind of looked up and just gone, I'll just kick it in the general direction of somebody. It's Chelsea not got out of the gear, not gone through the gears yet. But that's and they're not playing badly. I think it's got to be said. Chelsea are still playing well, but they're not at that top level, which is why Man City are making a real good go at this.
Well, that's the thing. If this is only third or fourth gear for Chelsea, then it's no massive concern. But it's how do they go through the motions? How do they build up their performance in the second half?
I don't think we've seen top tier Chelsea yet in 2025.
Oh, it says a lot. No additional time in that first half. The first half that had glimpses of action, but overall was a fairly drab affair. Man City 0, Chelsea 0 as we go into the break here at the Joey Stadium.
That was a pretty good first half. I think it's a testament to both sides that the ball was, for the majority of the time, was on the pitch and in play, and that's what you want to see. It was two sides. I think it's two sides who are really good in possession.
But do you think that perhaps, because the nature of these two sides meeting so much, has that impacted the quality of today's game?
Yeah, I think,
feels like both sides know how the other wants to play.
Yeah, exactly. I think City have probably done the better thing, which is actually they've stopped Chelsea playing, the way with the ball, which has made things really difficult for Chelsea. But as you say, you can see an effect saying they only met 5 days ago in the cup final. That effect is only going to be stronger on Sunday, and it's going to be at its strongest next Thursday. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. But it's been very, very close. It's again started off a little bit nervy, as you'd expect. Champions League quarter-final. But the difference is both sides have settled before. What happened on Saturday is that Chelsea got a goal before both sides have settled down. Whereas this game, without that goal, both sides have settled into the game now, and it's very, very even. The difference was in the cup final is that Chelsea were a goal ahead, so it didn't quite matter what Man City were doing. But now, with it being 0-0, City are right in this game, and they know that. You can tell the way they're playing, the way that Cushing is on that touchline, you can tell that they know they're in this game. They know they've got a chance of getting a win tonight.
Yeah, definitely so. One says City have won the first half. Definitely. Chelsea, I think, really struggled to play out in that first half. City with some really effective pressing. And I think they've been a bit more consistent with Maya Ramirez tonight. And Chelsea have struggled to isolate her up against the defence. So I think that's been good. Chelsea's play hasn't really worked. But again, it comes down to those moments, because if Ramirez finds someone with a cutback, if Aggie scores when she runs through, then there could be 2-0 Chelsea. So it's one of those. But Chelsea have been limited to only those opportunities so far. City though still not capitalising on winning the ball back half the pitch, which was what let them down in the cup final on Saturday.
Yeah, I think what they're doing better is they're getting more shots off. They are really starting to pull the trigger early. They've had quite a few shots now that have tested Hannah Hampton. They've had a few from range that have really. They're on target. They're on target and they're having shots, which is exactly what Manchester City need, because they didn't do that enough. Regino's the only one to really pull the trigger from range, and she found the back of the net. So City looking for the same fortune tonight. We've seen Fowler been denied by Hannah Hampton. We've seen Murphy have the same, and it's better from City. They've looked better in attacking areas, but as you say, I still don't think they punished Chelsea enough in that first half.
Yeah, quite a lot of people weighing in the live chat, so we'll just talk through it all. Maria saying Chelsea just aren't a cohesive team. It feels disjointed. A lot of people mention the midfield that Alex G says Kat, Kira and Erin midfield just doesn't look like it has balance. Jason saying really disappointed in Chelsea right now. Macario, James been lackadaisical on the ball. Is there a bit too much? Is it a bit too casual in midfield right now? What's missing from that midfield?
I think that it is a little bit casual. It is Chelsea look very, very relaxed tonight. The thing is, you've got players in there like Macario, like Lauren James, who thrive when they can get the ball down and run with it and play and use it. But City aren't allowing them to do that. So as we've seen, the problem is Macario isn't being afforded time to take the ball and run forward with it. She's having to try and find that pass, and we've seen on numerous occasions that pass has gone wide or it's been hasn't been good enough, and it's really letting Chelsea down because it means they're not getting out. Same with Lauren James. The difference is it's not that her pass has been poor; it's that she's just not getting involved. If she can't get the ball down and take people on, then Lauren James can't quite really get in the game.
That's the thing. I think saying that James looks that sensible is difficult because that is how James plays.
Yeah.
There's a nonchalance about the way that she carries herself. About even when she's got the ball, she's calm. She's collected in possession. So I think in that regard, it's difficult to say. I think when she's got onto the ball on the left hand side, she has done well. I still think she's so much more dangerous through the middle.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a change in there because there is a standard at Chelsea and that's not been met in the first half. But we'll see what happens. Risers, could it be Michael on at half time? That is one situation. That's one way to resolve the problem that we've seen. I think what we notice is that a lot of people criticise Guro Reiten, but you really notice when she's not there.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest compliment too. I think people are so used to what she does and what she brings to this Chelsea team that they seem to forget the quality that Reiten possesses. And I do think when she's not there, she is a big miss.
Yeah. I think on her day, she's a top player, one of the best in Europe. Yeah, I believe we haven't seen the best of her over the last kind of year and a half, but that doesn't mean that player is just disappeared. These are the type of nights where that kind of player, that kind of standard can be unlocked. So
I think that's the problem as well, is she's sort of a victim of her own success in the sense that because she had such a strong 23 campaign, obviously then came back to 23-24 with an ankle injury and she's never really found that level again. I think because she has such a strong season, now, despite still having a really good season, I think she's Chelsea's second top goal scorer this season.
Yes.
She's looked really strong. So
she's top.
She's top goal scorer.
Yeah, I think she's like 5th or 6th in the WSL standing. She's on 7 goals, and I think people forget that she is a top player.
No, she definitely is, and I think that's. I mean, obviously she takes pens as well, which people will bring that statistic down then for. But yeah, she's on 7 goals season, most of any Chelsea player. But yeah, I think you really do notice when she's not there, Chelsea are lacking that width on the left hand side, which then allows Lauren James to play in that attacking midfield role. So it's been interesting. Dave Perez, I think Chelsea says, I think Chelsea is getting better, just has to get through the gears. Alex says Chelsea need a workhorse like Micah in midfield. I think, when you've got in there Cuthbert, who's an absolute dog, but in terms of, an aggressive player, not just flagging her off. But she works hard. She's a pit bull, a terrier in there. Yapping at the players' feet, that's useful. You've got Walsh, who's wants to play the passer. You've got Kat, who's I feel Macario is a very luxury player, and I think she can play attack midfield, but not when it's not when it's a big important Champions League game.
Yeah,
I think you need another midfielder in there who's going to have that grit and that bite.
I still think Chelsea have got to work out the pivot with Kira Walsh because it hasn't been smooth sailing. I don't think since Walsh joined. So I know she has been out a lot, she has missed a couple of games here and there, but
she's a single pivot player, and Chelsea don't play with a single pivot midfield. I think that's the problem. There will be that adjustment period. But I think right now, say the Champions League final is tomorrow, and Chelsea are there. I mean, that's very hypothetical, but the midfield for me wouldn't have Kira Walsh in it, just because you have to go what works. I think, yes, if Chelsea were to switch to a single pivot midfield next season and look at what they want to do tactically, then maybe that will work better for Walsh. But right now, it just doesn't feel like she would be in Chelsea's best 11.
Yeah, the single pivot doesn't work for Chelsea, so Walsh is going to have to learn to work to the double pivot.
Or, you change to a single pivot next season, but you're not doing that mid-season. We've already seen Sonia try that. It hasn't worked. It's not going to work. So it's gone back to double pivot, and that's been...
Tried it against Brighton and got taken to the cleaners.
Yeah, indeed. I had one that says put on Beinreuter for Layla and Viv for Rord. You'd make changes for City.
Rod's been... I think Rod's one of City's best players.
Yeah. I think I had one suggested different players to take off for Miedemar throughout the first half. Natalie says, Wrighton is my favourite player. I love Guro Wrighton, indeed. Maria says, it feels like there's no connection between defenders and forwards, and the midfield is non-existent for Chelsea. I think, yeah, it does feel like Chelsea have less players on the pitch because City are really suffocating Chelsea in possession. So we're interested to see what Chelsea do in the second half and how they handle that. But that's where coaches earn their wages. So what we need to see more from Sonia Bonpastor and from Chelsea in the second half. H says City on top, so we know Chelsea will score first. And Alex says, when's Guro back? Sonia should give us Micah, Neve and Sio in the second half. Yuck, so those Guro isn't back until April at the earliest. May well miss the semi-finals as well if we do indeed get there. So it's a bit more long-term back injury for Guro Wrighton. As for Gurma, she should be back for the game next Thursday if she is to be needed, if she is to be involved. And obviously Kira Walsh returning today. They were all the injuries.
I mean, it hasn't helped Chelsea, is it? You sign a centre-half because you've only got 2 first-team centre-backs and then she comes with a load of injury problems. But at the end of the day, it's not Naomi Gurma, so I don't think Chelsea aren't going to complain too much. But yeah, I think that Chelsea do just need to try and get a foot on the ball because once they start to do that, it will feel like there's a midfield in there again. But the problem is you've got Erin Cuthbert, who's more known for her defensive work than her actual ball work. Yeah. And Kira Walsh, who's still adjusting to this Chelsea side. So,
and still a more defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
So I don't think the ball progression's really been there so far.
Which is the problem because when you're playing against Man City, who like to stop you moving the ball, and you've got players who aren't particularly great at moving the ball, it makes it very easy for Man City.
The other thing you can do is just bring, Sioka Nuskan or Mike Hamano into this midfield role. 2 players who are much more comfortable receiving the ball and then making stuff happen with it. Whereas Macario is much more, a final third end product type player.
I can understand it because I think Nuskan didn't have a brilliant game on Saturday, but that's because that game was a scrappy and well fought affair. This game is more possession and high class football, which is where Nuskan will thrive. Whereas you want your Cuthbert running around in a League Cup final on a crap pitch in Derby, just smashing into people and having a great time.
Phineas asks, is it because Ramirez is such an easy outball? She's so effective and the option to rush it to her is always there. What that then hinders Chelsea's in possession stuff? Potentially, I think the way that Chelsea have looked to set up in these games against City so far has always facilitated them getting the ball to Ramirez. The reason that pass is always on is because that's what Chelsea are looking to do. Take players away from that area, so then you isolate Ramirez against Alexandria, ideally, and then you look to get the tactical upside from that, which we saw almost resulted in a goal for Chelsea. And again, I think the discourse is so different at half-time. If she does cut it back and Lauren James tucks it home, or Kat McCarr tucks it home, or it falls to Baltimore who tucks it home, I think it's such a different conversation. And that's the thing to remember in football. It is we are, and fans are in general, incredibly reactionary with it.
My concern is, speaking of reactionary, is that Chelsea weren't brilliant in the first half of the cup final, and Bombastar didn't do anything until City scored. The let-off that day was that Chelsea were already in the lead, so City only equalised. So Bombastar then had time to react to it and change. If Bombastar doesn't change anything and the game carries on as it could, there's a very good chance that City could take the lead. And then suddenly, it's not like, okay, I can react late, I can react now because we're only drawing. It's too late because we're losing. So I do think that Bombastar is going to have to change, has got to make a difference at half-time. Because credit to Man City and Nick Cushing, they've got it right today. They've got it very right, and they're playing some really nice stuff.
Yeah, and I guess even if there isn't a change at half-time, you give 5 minutes. You allow the tactical changes, if there are any, to bed in. If you need a personnel change, you make one 5-10 minutes into the second half. But I do agree. I think sometimes there can be a bit of reluctance from Sonia Bonpastor to make early changes, when actually it would be beneficial if she just... If she was proactive with those changes and did actually make a decision earlier on.
Well, that's the thing. It's bizarre to see because we've seen it at times this season where she's made one... Was it the Villa game where she made one change at half-time and then made 2 changes in like the 55th minute and then made, and just kept bringing on these... she was incredible with it. And eventually, was fortunate, but Chelsea reaped the rewards from it. But Bombastor, did very, very well to adjust to the situation there. Need to see that again, I think, today.
Yeah, Riley, welcome to the stream. Good to see. As always, we're going to ignore context and jump to dramatic conclusions at half-time. But good to see you, Riley. I agree we need a better second-half performance, but I still think we are one of the 3 sides with the best chance of winning the competition. And it's an incredibly strong Chelsea team. Dutch Answer says, City has certainly done well so far, but there's still a lack of penetration. Short and Fagino, big misses. Completely agree. think City are lacking someone to aim for with the ball. I think they're lacking someone I think it's a bit too indecisive in attacking areas and holding onto the ball for too long is allowing Chelsea to get back into position, and the wrong passes is then sending City down the wrong way. Players not wanting to release the ball and take a shot, so that has hurt City so far. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the second half. Alex says Mike and Myra combo can be lethal in the second half. Indeed, I think that's what will happen most likely. Mike and Mano on for Kat Macaro, like for like in a sense. Change for City at the break. I think they realised that they can win this game.
Yeah.
Because that is Viviana Miedemar coming on and Lily Murphy coming off. So Fowler will likely move then to the left wing.
It's
and Viviana Miedemar will lead the line.
I thought she would have put the board up.
No, that is now Miedemar.
But yeah, City fancy it now. And that is worrying from Chelsea because Miedemar could really punish any more errors. But I think that's the thing to remember as well. This is still Manchester City. They're not some B-class side that Chelsea should be thrashing. This is Manchester City who...
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think obviously this game's complicated by the fact Chelsea have played City, are in the same domestic league as City, so these two sides know each other very well. They played each other in the League Cup final a matter of days ago, which complicates matters further because both sides are very aware of how the other one wants to play.
But it also becomes that mentality: we beat them once, we should beat them again.
And on the opposite side, the mentality of City of let's get immediate revenge for what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the thing. Football doesn't work like that. Football isn't just you beat someone, so you must automatically should be beating them again. Especially when you play them 4 times in a row.
We're not simulating the games.
Change for Chelsea. Speaker captain.
Speaker captain. Interesting.
So is that Walsh come off?
Yeah.
Yes, that is Aaron Cuthbert right there.
So an interesting call. I mean, potentially Walsh still feeling a little discomfort. Obviously missed the game. No, that is Kira Walsh there.
Oh.
So it is Kat Macaro coming up. So it is a Walsh and Cuthbert still in the pivot. Captain coming into the 10 role.
It's interesting.
Captain over Hamano. Is that a decision you would have made?
No, if I'm honest, but in Sonia Bombast all we trust.
Okay, so it looks like a single pivot for Chelsea.
Yes.
From the off.
That's interesting. Because when you're getting pressed out the game as a double pivot, the best idea is to put a single one in there.
Change it.
Fair enough.
Gives them 2 options in the half spaces.
Yeah. Doesn't like Jess Parker. He's just going to sit on Kira Walsh there, though.
I mean, you still create a double pivot if Captain or Walsh or Cuthbert drop in. Gives you potentially a bit more.
I see.
Different options, and it does look like Lauren James is going to play a bit more of a floating role, and Baltimore is very high.
Yeah. But yeah, competitive first half. Both sides have made a change that I think strengthens them. Let's see what happens.
Here is Bright. Does feel like Chelsea's back to being a very experimental system.
Risky in a game like this.
But, fortune favours the brave. Let's see what happens. Lauren James carries the ball forward. That is out for a throw. Riley, I don't think Vicky Captain is a terrible footballer. Someone says, do you guys see an immediate impact from City now that Gareth is gone? I think there's a shift in expectation. I think you look at Nick Cushing on the sideline and compare that to Gareth Taylor, who wasn't even on the sideline. I think there is a difference there. There's a demand from the manager. There is a standard that needs to be met. We see that when even at 0-0 in the League Cup final, when I think Gareth Taylor would have been like, well done guys, we're not losing to Chelsea. Yeah. You got Nick Cushing there who is furious. Even when they lost it, he was furious. Rather than consoling players, this is the standard. We didn't meet it in today's final. See you on Wednesday because we need to do better. And evidently, it's working. City have come here with a eye for vengeance.
Yeah, Nick Cushing has that winner's mentality. I think it's something that Gareth Taylor slightly lacked. Was that ambition? Was that I'm not saying that of course he wanted to go win trophies, but it's that mentality that can sometimes be what it takes. Nick Cushing, he's won the League Cup 3 times. He wins trophies wherever he goes. Yeah. So, and it's what he does.
I think Taylor's a very good manager, but I think his man management needs work. That's a good strike from Lauren James. First glimpse of recent of Lauren James being able to get a shot away on goal. Receives it from the dead ball. Strikes it. Good save from Yamashita to claim it.
Yeah, does well. No one really gets out to it. It's not a bad effort. I think she gets the right power but it's low enough that Yamashita can scurry across and claim.
Yeah, I think she should have really tried to aim high with that.
Yeah.
Because then Yamashita either parries it or it goes in. Just give her a bit more of a difficult one to deal with. Uwe Harvey into Park. Bronze will get across there well, and now Chelsea have possession again. Bronze finds Ramirez. Now Walsh. Beaver Jones tries to play up the line, head down by Hasegawa. Cuthbert coming onto it, receives the ball. We'll play it in behind now, and it's Ramirez up against Pryor here in the one-on-one. She's a bit too wide here to go straight for goal. Waits for some support, tries to cut it back. That's only to Hasegawa. And now Uwe Harvey, the ref, almost getting in the way of the ball again. But yeah, it feels like Ramirez had to hold on to that a little longer. Wait for an actual option to come inside. She just keeps cutting it back when there's nobody there. I don't really get that. Here's Viviana Miedema. Up against Bronze. Beyonce stands the ground nicely. Fowler now finds Kasparai, who struck it haphazardly, and that's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, bounced up at her, and her first touch didn't do her any favours. But really, there was really good stuff from Caroline on the breakaway initially. Lovely, lovely turns, just going this way and that way, and ends up the pass from Miedema just sent her too wide.
Says a lot when the referee's been Chelsea's best midfielder so far.
Yeah, not a great game. The ref, not in terms of decision making, just getting involved,
in the way.
Getting sucked in.
You shouldn't see a ref that close to the ball, and we've seen it like 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, sometimes accidents happen, the ball comes over to your ref where you're in a position where the ball shouldn't really come near you, but it just does.
Yeah.
Because football can be strange at times. Great chest down from Nick Cushing there.
Put him on.
Sign him up.
Give him a wig.
Feels like City could start brilliant vets teams with just their coaches and managers.
Yeah.
There's a foul in there. Gio Roard.
Call Gareth Taylor back, put him up front.
Yeah, indeed.
Good player in his day. Yeah, this is good from Beaver Jones.
Not really sure there's anything wrong with that. I think
No.
the problem is Roger's come in at speed.
I thought it was for the pullback originally.
That is what I thought as well. So maybe it's just the UWCL, the broadcasters.
No, Kira Walsh, superb.
Footage choice. Lauren James. That's brilliant as well.
2 players that are just so good at just resisting that press.
Now Baltimore. Well, again, that's where individual quality can bail you out. Even if there are structural issues, you just go, there you go. Lauren just played her way out of a tough spot, and that is a free kick for Chelsea. Beaver Jones Martin Ramirez has been removed.
Price just taking her out of the equation.
T1 to the stream says, I beg, can you guys do commentary on the WSL live streams? Would be so much better than the current standard. That is high praise. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I wish it was as easy as we just asked them and they said yeah.
Do it. But yeah, I mean, for the games we are live for, you're always welcome to put the game on and then put our commentary on over the top as well. That's what we always encourage with these. And obviously, if people can't watch the game, it's a nice way to still be able to feel like you're watching the game. Chelsea now with a free kick. Lauren James lifting it into the area, headed away by Viviana Miedema. Bronze keeps it alive. Now captain, one back in there by Caroline. Sloppy from Chelsea. Miedema will now look to break. And that's poked towards Caroline. Huge tackle in there from Millie Bright. Beaver Jones trying to put pressure on Yamashita now, and that is sent forwards. Walsh tries to poke that to captain.
It's going to take someone to step up in this game and deliver for their team.
Oddman says, I agree 100%. Where can we sign a petition? Right, says, hell yeah.
Great ball down the line.
Thank you guys for the high praise. Caroline, and that is a good block in there from Millie Bright. Gets in well, and City now with a corner and a chance to put Chelsea under pressure.
Yeah. Also, no offence to any of the commentators that do the commentary on the YouTube, but some of it is horrendous.
No offence, but you're horrendous at your job.
No, but I don't think it's their fault, actually. I think sometimes that the commentary is behind the footage.
I think that's very difficult. I think as well, having a solo commentary must be so difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, we do it sometimes on stream, and
But at least we've got like chat popping up and stuff.
yeah, exactly. Like, the amount of women's football where you don't have a co-commentator, it's like, why not?
Yeah.
There's enough commentators that want that opportunity. You want that, chance.
Don't get the commentators that already exist. I don't need to listen to Don Goodman any more than I already do. But yeah, go get some new ones.
Yeah.
Go get like that easy. Just go find some.
But yeah. Here is Cuff, but Lauren James spreads the ball to Aggie Beever-Jones. Bronze. Goes back now to Natalie Bjorn. Bjorn into Bronze. I think there's so much more opportunity, so much more potential with the WSL coverage. But yeah. We're still at the point where I know there's not a huge amount of funding there, but we're still at the point where at half time it's just like clips from the first half and pictures of the pitch.
But like, even tonight, no slight on Jackie Oatley at all. I think she's a phenomenal presenter, but she's not a commentator. By trade, she's not a commentator.
And that is the problem. There are a lot of female presenters who have been brought into men's football, but there aren't a lot of commentators. And there's not that women just haven't been given that chance. Raw takes same, but for their coverage of women's football, all these broadcasters want to have a female commentator. I think if you look back at the Euros final in 2022, it was Clive Tilsley on the commentary, and it made the experience so much better because you've got a professional who treat the women's game with the respect it deserves. Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's also a good image to have a male voice on it, who's as you say, doing a very, very good job on it. I think the best one is Peen Moulenstein for Sky, who does coverage, obviously mainly WSL, but does the Premier League as well. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Get more commentators. I think they promote obviously people playing and getting involved, but they should do that. Get people getting into commentary.
That's brilliant there from Millie Bright. Ball fed through. I think content creation in general.
Yeah.
I think there's still a huge untapped market with the WSL. I think there is across the women's game really. I mean, we had a comment on our analysis of Chelsea City of an NWSL fan saying, "I wish there was something like this for the NWSL." Because I think there's a lot of people who want to get into, who are looking for content in the space, and the problem is a lot of it is ex-players on a podcast.
Yeah.
And they're all mates with all the players, so it's not that you don't tend to get like analysis. You don't tend to get criticism, really.
It's like Farrah Williams, I think, going to sit there and go, "Oh, well, I think Millie Bright's rubbish. It was a terrible mistake."
Yeah.
Not that Millie Bright is rubbish, but just at least for an example. They're not going to slag off their mates or like say.
Here comes Chelsea, by the way. Lauren James driving that ball forwards. Nice run inside. Has Bronze here to switch the play to and finds her on the right hand side. Bronze puts the ball into the middle. It's headed away by Leia Alexandri. Hasegawa. Now Park. And now Beever-Jones wins the ball back. Poor pass from City. Ramirez can't quite hold that up. Kasparov gets it clear. And now it's on to Baltimore. Caroline chasing her down. Really impressed by Caroline's out of possession work tonight.
Yeah.
I think a player who has previously been described as quite a luxury player. I think, has looked really strong tonight, really physical.
Yeah. Overall, a solid game from her.
Yeah. Huge improvement. I mean, still, given the money she's on, given the gravitas she has, you want to see more from Caroline. But an important performance here that you're seeing an improvement.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
And I think a solid performance from her tonight means that we haven't sat here going all night, well, City are really missing Shaw and Fregino without, they can't handle it without them. Because Caroline stepped up tonight, we're not, they haven't, the absence of those two big players has been less obvious. Both sides going to changes. Carnery's going to come on for Chelsea pretty soon, and Laura Coombs has been sent back to the bench by Nick Cushing to get ready.
Ball in from Sondi Baltimore. That is plucked out the air well by Ayaki Yamashita, who will clench that to her chest. And just slow this game down a little more. Chelsea now looking for changes. There's Carnery and Nuskin in line to come on. Presumably, will it be Beever-Jones, or do you think they'll move Beever-Jones central, bring Ramirez off?
That's a good point.
Caroline, great drive here from the Brazilian winger. Ball into the box. Chance for City. Taken away from the head of Viviana Miedemar by a clearance from Bjorn. And now Chelsea will look to break. Viva Jones trying to get away there from City's press. Ends up running herself off the pitch.
Yui Hasegawa, superb.
Yeah.
As always. Apart from the League Cup final, but superb as always. Yeah, this game is becoming who is going to step up for their team and deliver. Which of the big game players out there on this field
there are
is going to
changes
set
coming, and that is Kira Walsh then. The first player making way here.
So back to a double pivot for Chelsea. You'd think.
You would assume so, and this one coming in. And then it will be Joanna Ritten-Carnareid as well. And Lauren James coming off. So presumably Viva Jones then moves to this left-hand side. Carnareid goes to the right-hand side. I think that's fair. Lauren James played 90 minutes in the League Cup final.
But just not got involved today.
No.
But I like that from Bombas. So I like a manager who's just got that boldness to just go, I think Lauren James hasn't played well enough. I'm going to bring her off before an hour.
Yeah.
But again, that's better from Bombas talk. She's reacted for Chelsea to try and make a difference before things have gone wrong. And that's what winning managers do. And to be fair, Nick Cushing, he's doing exactly the same thing.
Here is Viviana Miedemar. Knocks it wide into Caroline. Just to take on Sondi Baltimore. Blocked by Baltimore. And that is out for a City corner.
Good defending again.
Again, it looked dangerous from Caroline.
Yeah, good defending from Baltimore. But Caroline looking really sharp and causing issues. Goes this way, and that Baltimore's just really got to stand her up. For a block. I mean, I know she's played left back a lot this season, but for a player who's known for attacking exploits, that was a good piece of defensive work.
Yeah, definitely.
Again,
I think her defending's come on leaps and bounds this season, playing in that role. She's definitely acclimatised to it nicely. City now with a corner. A chance again to put this backline under pressure. And it's delivered in towards the near post. Flicked it on in there. And dealt with by Bjorn. Still alive here for City. Bounce around the penalty area. Pinballing around. Bjorn clears her lines. Falls to Fowler now on the edge of the box. Looking to put it back in there. Nusken out quickly to try and stop her. Ball in. Headed on top. Saved by Hampton. Turned home by Viviana Miedemar. And that's City 1, Chelsea 0. And you had to feel it was coming. Chelsea didn't clear their lines. Haven't been playing their football. City kept putting the pressure on. And they've forced one home eventually. Yeah. You felt it was coming. Miedemar from point blank range. Moments after, Hannah Hampton denied City with a fantastic save. But it's just not good enough from Chelsea.
Yeah. Didn't deal with it. City, they've kept the pressure on these corners. Brilliant from Fowler. Nusken just dives in too easily.
Yeah, no one stands her up. Ball in. Brilliant stop from Hampton. Can't do anything about the second one. Again, Viviana Miedemar's unmarked.
Reacts quickest. Nusken can't dive in like
unmarked and unchallenged at the back post. Finishes it off nicely.
Yeah, Chelsea just not been at the level tonight, and City have punished because that's what when you're not at the level against top sides, they will punish you. And that's exactly what Manchester City have done tonight.
Yeah. Not great from Chelsea, this. 29 minutes, though, to turn it around. Baltimore. Well held up by Beaver Jones. Sandy Baltimore plays it inside. Roared there. Forcing down Nusken. Here comes Caroline. City looking to double their advantage here. Ball in from Kasparai. Headed away by Cuthbert. But they're on the ropes here, Chelsea.
Yeah.
They just look defeated. And Ramirez comes across, uses her body well. Now looks to play it in behind Takano. That's going to go run straight through to Yamashita. Overhit again.
And we spoke about how crucial it was yesterday when Real Madrid got their second goal, when Lyon got their second goal. But the difference between 1-0 and 2-0 in leg play is absolutely crucial. If City do get a second tonight, then suddenly Chelsea have got an uphill task to do next week. But there's still a long way to go here, and this could very easily finish 2-1 to Chelsea. But the way the game's going, City are more likely to get a second than Chelsea are to score a goal.
And this will be a concern for City, who are Harvey there. Look to be feeling some discomfort. Her knee already has her thigh strapped up.
Yeah. City players put together, just bandaged up.
Yeah.
Bit of sellotape here, but stick them all together.
I mean, I know Lazel's now come back. They got Weinreuter as well, but they are really short on players. I know they've been unlucky with injuries. I mean, long-term injury for Alex Greenwood, Risa Shimizu out all season with an ACL, but yeah, it feels like a really bandaged together team, as you say. Ramirez holds that ball up nicely. Here is Vika captain. Spreads the play here to Sandy Baltimore. Baltimore, Beaver Jones touches poor. Baltimore it falls to again though. Spilling out from Rod's interception. Here's Bright. Now Natalie Bjorn, and Chelsea will look to come down the right-hand side instead here. Bronze. Tries to slide one through, can't quite. Here's Fowler. Shimmies inside to Hasegawa, and now Viviana Miedemar is running in again. Looking for a second of the game. Up against Bright, takes aim. Big save from Hampton. Bright gets it clear. Chelsea look vulnerable.
Hannah Hampton's keeping Chelsea in this game. It's poor across the board. It's not one of those from Chelsea where you go a couple of players are letting the side down here. It's just a shambles. Again, just messy football on the right-hand side between a quadruple of players. Just lose the ball and City just turn it on them. And I think it's important that we speak about the absence of Shaw, the likes of Shaw and Hemp and Firmino when City are losing, but it's important to speak about it when they're winning as well.
The game management here coming from Nick Cushing, Mary Fowler taken off, Laura Coombs coming in. City are just looking to see out this game now then.
And again, that is what a top manager, that's what a winning and smart manager does. It's conservative. They know
happy. The schedule is intense.
Yeah.
But they know that, Chelsea aren't at the races right now. And they're going to take the opportunity to rest up Cuthbert. And don't get me wrong, Laura Coombs is still going to go on there and run her heart out.
But they would rather consolidate than risk conceding again.
And they just move Park into a more, what would you call it? Intensive role. With the pressing required. Switched up over. She didn't obviously play in Sunday's game. Or start Sunday's game. Carnareed here. It felt like she timed that well. Players in the box waiting for the ball. It goes in there. Ramirez's touch escapes her somewhat. She does keep that ball alive. Flicks it back now to Lucy Bronze. Bronze to Cuthbert. Bronze again. Into Carnareed in this wide space. Wants to take on Park here. Needs to be more unpredictable. Carnareed goes left, goes right. Can't find a way past her. Tries to come inside. Goes back to Bronze now. Now plays down the line. Can Carnareed keep it in touch? Yes, she can. Squares up to Coombs. It's just too stationary. Just too static. Carnareed. Back to Bronze. And 4 players over there for Chelsea. And they just couldn't get out.
Someone's got to find something. Someone's got to bring something that City don't expect. City are very happy to just let Chelsea just go side to side and let play, just deal with players in the corners.
Beaver Jones dispossessed. City looking to break. That's one back by Chelsea.
Chelsea in possession all game, just not been good enough. Been caught out way too many times. And again, you have to give praise to Man City first because they have been brilliant without the ball tonight. The press has been superb, and of course Chelsea loads of problems, but Chelsea on their day should be able to knock the ball around and play through that press. Just been caught in possession too many times.
Nothing up down this left-hand side. That goes out now for a Chelsea throw.
And again, it is a first leg, which is why I don't think we're seeing an incredible amount of urgency from Chelsea because you don't want to go all guns blazing and end up conceding a second. But I think there will be a little bit more of a push now.
Yeah. Yeah, there needs to be. Summerchick asks, lads, is this a must-win game for Chelsea?
No.
Out of the 1-0, I'd still back them at the bridge, but it's just a situation. It's too precarious. You just don't want to be in that situation.
Because City can turn up to the bridge, put 11 players behind the ball, and know that even if they lose 1-0, they'll take it to extra time.
Yeah.
And that's the position you now want to be in as a team.
Dark Genesis says, really surprised Samano wasn't one of the first subs. City are on the ropes. They need help in the midfield in particular. I assume you mean Chelsea on the ropes there. But yeah. I just think it's been a poor performance from Chelsea. A weak performance. This is the kind of game where they should be coming in and battling.
Yeah.
And competing, but it's just been subdued from Chelsea.
And all you do is you put loads of pressure on the second leg now. Because Chelsea have to deliver. And you look at...
Brilliant from Ramirez to keep battling and keep that alive. Her pass inside those cut out. Carney trying to win it back. Miedemar, though, just wants it more. And now they look to break. Rod's touch isn't great. Falls to Sandy Baltimore. Captain. That's not good enough from Nuska. Not enough on it towards Beaver Jones. 2 mistakes tonight. Right. Up the line into Aggie Beaver Jones. Keeps it on, but sends it back to Yamashita in the process. I think that's gone anyway, to be fair.
Time's running out. There's a lot of people stood up on that Chelsea technical area. Meanwhile, all the City bench are laid back having a great time.
Cushing's discussing his plans for the weekend.
There does look a slight busyness. I'm not going to say panic, because it's not like Bona's not tearing her notebook apart and throwing everything around. But there does look to be a little bit of busyness on that Chelsea bench.
They will, because not only are they currently a goal behind, they won't want that for the overall time, but there has been a standard this season. They haven't lost a game yet.
No.
At the moment, they're staring down the barrel of 1-0 defeat. Viviana Miedemar looks to play it across, intercepted by Lucy Bronze. This is the moment where big players and big teams make the difference.
Yeah.
Chelsea have got to make something happen now. Ramirez, Bronze, Cuthbert. It's on the coach now. Sonia Wampuster. Can she inspire? Can she make the right changes? It's on the Chelsea players to step up as individuals. Ball's in behind. Yamashita off her line quickly. Brilliant from Yamashita.
Yeah.
Because if not, Ramirez is in, and Ramirez is on the ground. And that looks at the end of her game. And this will be a concern for Chelsea. With Sam Kerr still not back. Mia Fischel only just returning. Ramirez going down in this manner will be a worry for Chelsea.
Maybe it's just a PR stunt from Chelsea. Lose 1-0 in the second leg.
Oh.
Make it...
Ramirez is back to her feet. She's made a miraculous
just
recovery.
cramp, I think. Just make it really dangerous. But then in like last 10 minutes, Sam Kerr comes onto the bridge in the second half, scores 2 goals and wins the game. But Lucy Bronze is having to sit down on the call box.
She just needs to rest.
Yeah. That's not what you need when you need a goal in 20 minutes. Man City are probably sitting there thinking, that's brilliant. I'm going to tell Jess Parker to run at her all night now.
Yeah, she's sitting on a goal box.
Yeah.
Right. Sends it up the line. That gives Beaver Jones something to give chase to. And she'll beat Gracie Pryor in the foot race just about. Pryor tries to step in. Good from Beaver Jones. Nice turn, but it goes backwards from Captain. And Nuskin there seems to be caught with the ball in her feet. Baltimore to Beaver Jones. Nice touch and turn. Still going. Beaver Jones slots it in to Myra Ramirez. Shot of Chelsea's goal for Chelsea. Flagged offside.
Yeah, went too early. Way too early from Ramirez.
No, they'll check it, but yeah.
They'll have a look, but that was very obvious to the naked eye that was offside.
Well, if it has done Yamashita in, it may well have been worth it. She's no doubt.
But that's what Chelsea need, though. They found the back of the net.
Yeah, she just drifted too early. She didn't need to.
No.
She didn't need to.
It's a good finish. That's what Chelsea. That's positive for Chelsea, though.
Yeah.
They've had the ball in the back of the net. They've got 20 minutes now, and
Right.
Yamashita's currently has got a problem with cramp, I think.
Ryerson says this is all a ploy to sell more tickets at the bridge. This is genius. Yeah. Give a bit of jeopardy in the game. I hope it's a good attendance next Thursday.
Yeah.
We need the fans to have a voice. I wish there was a like singing section. Not as in like everyone's gonna get carols going or something, but
I
there
know,
is-
after everyone-
if you try and get something going and you're not Basil, it just doesn't work.
And I love Basil, but sometimes it's more just like making noise,
Well, the England game.
which does work. Love Basil. Ramirez is coming on.
Ramirez is coming off. She also comes to that injury. And Micah Hamano on. So Beaver Jones will move into the central striker position. Hamano coming onto the left-hand side, you would assume.
Now, this is a player that we've seen make a difference for Chelsea this season on numerous occasions. She just looks happy on a football pitch, to be fair.
But it's not.
She believes.
It's
She
not in the role
believes.
she loves. I love it though. Micah's come on with positivity.
She's so happy.
But this is where I don't know. Maybe take Cuthbert off, put Charles on, move Baltimore to left wing, bring Hamano central. And I'll go Bjorn's foot there.
Oh, wow.
Just one of those. It's just been sloppy across the board from Chelsea this evening. players who don't usually make mistakes
I
making
mean,
mistakes.
I know they all had to be in bed by 9:30, but maybe it should have been 8:30.
I think they're in bed now.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Chelsea got to work. Pressure is on now.
Yeah.
City will fancy it. 1-0. If they lead 1-0 going to Stamford Bridge, City will fancy that. It's up to Chelsea to change that scoreline.
Do you think the mistakes is a bit of mental fatigue mentality type thing? I mean, I think there's been tactical issues tonight, which is something we'll probably discuss more in the morning, but when we review it. But do you think there's a mental side of it, fatigue and mentality wise?
Potentially, and whether that's because they are struggling, or whether it's because, and this is my thing with cup finals being in the middle of the season, it feels like that cup final would have felt like, well, that's job. We've won a trophy now. I mean, I'm not saying that's the only one, but in terms of like that,
That's brilliant from Alexandri.
Once you have success, you feel like, oh yeah, we've won the trophy. We're the best. We're going to beat everyone. You lose a bit of that grit, I think.
Yeah.
Speaking of someone who's won loads in his career, life.
And that is a foul. Can't read that. Pulled down by Leo or Harvey.
Yeah, just feels like he's looking at it and go, yeah. What are Chelsea going to find now? You've bought off, Ramirez has come off, Lauren James has come off.
City with more changes. Blinker to Brown on for Jess Park.
It's an interesting one because Park didn't start the League Cup final.
Actually, found out Caroline and
that is true.
Viviana Midvar, so.
Meanwhile, I did move midfield.
Oh yeah, sorry, but she didn't start this game, so
yeah,
that could bring her off. And you can't take Rord and Hasegawa off. Well, that is a woefully overhit ball from Hamano.
I'm glad that she was really happy on the football pitch, but it doesn't matter if she's going to kick it out.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's tried to do there.
She's tried to switch the flow to Baltimore on that side, but she's just got horribly wrong.
Yeah.
There's no theme for. I thought Yamashita was going forwards there. The way she sprinted out of her gut. Pryor. Yamashita. Lifts the ball into midfield. Bright pounces on it. A mistake there from Alexandri. Can Chelsea capitalise on it? Bright. Cuthbert. Twisting and turning. Trying to find a teammate. Bronze now.
Millie Bright is up front.
Wide pass of Carnareed. Well, we've seen this before. I don't think I've ever seen it work.
But the one day it does will be incredible. She has now dropped back. Okay,
that's boring.
I think she just stepped up and stayed up.
Philly says, definitely some mental fatigue, but also, can you really see a cohesive game plan from Chelsea since the turn of the year? I think it's the same game plan, and that is part of the problem. It's a lot of teams now have figured out how Chelsea want to play. And actually, it's not that complex a system that you can't figure out what to do with it.
Mm.
Someone says, wait guys, where was the baby advertisement or covered up advertisement? Halfway line, the Joey bit's been blued out. Potentially not accepted under UEFA rules.
Yeah. And that is the thing, because no offence, but as much as Leon could play the same way in every single game and beat everybody in the league. And in the Champions League, yeah, they had to mix up a bit. But you don't get away with that in the WSL and against WSL opposition.
No, because there's a much greater investment in technology. So every team at WSL, I believe, now has an analytics department, so that makes a difference. We've seen, as I say, much. That's why we've seen teams, more smaller sides, beat the bigger teams because they can now analyse what they're doing, how they're playing. Whereas a lot of the lower clubs in perhaps Liga F and Premier League don't have those. Offside calling there on Caroline.
Yeah, she got called offside. She then got booked for putting the ball away. Then she now got offside again. This time, This time she didn't beat the ball away.
Ball in behind. Hamano giving chase. Back now to Yamashita.
Chelsea seems to have now just adopted the punt and run.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Caroline brings that down well. Baltimore jostling with her now. Nuskin comes in. It's just a blatant foul.
Yeah.
I know there's an urgency now necessary, but just doesn't get near the ball. Just comes over and shoves the opposing player. It's just not going to... It's not going to be anything other than a foul.
Yeah.
Kasparai. Don't miss the throw back.
I didn't think that going into next week, Manchester City would be the only WSL side leading on aggregate. I know Man City and Chelsea playing each other, but I'd have said Chelsea would be leading on aggregate and Arsenal would be beating Real Madrid. So credit to Man City.
Yeah.
Is this where the conspiracy, not the conspiracy, but the theorists start to work out? They've already beaten Barcelona once this season. They get through the semi-finals. Start to dream. Long way to go. Still a long way to go in this game.
Ball in behind from Hamano. Pressure here from Chelsea. Yamashita smashes that one out of play.
City have dropped deeper. You can tell. A lot more conservative. A lot more safe. Understandably.
There's still time here. There's still 12 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a second left. It's one goal in the first leg. Chelsea need to just
Chelsea take
wake up.
I think if you'd ask Bournemouth,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get the ball forward. Start playing some football. That is casual from Edemar. Making the foul. Baltimore.
I think Chelsea don't need that urgency yet.
Now it's Agabiva Jones. Bright. Slots it into Vika Captain. Captain coming forwards. Finds Carnery. Carnery takes a touch. Shoots off the bar. Chance for Hermano. Keeps it alive. Saved well by Yamashita. And that could make the difference. Off the crossbar. Joanna Wright Carnery, but Chelsea have got to take momentum from that. City are there for the taking if they want them. Carnery going close.
That's a really good effort.
Another player there who, her downturn in form has coincided really with Chelsea's.
Yeah. And Fulsa Hermano just doesn't catch it, but a really good strike from Carnery.
And again, you could say, is it a bit chicken and egg situation? Are Chelsea playing worse because of Carnery not playing as well? Or is Carnery playing worse because Chelsea are not playing as well?
Yeah.
Probably the latter, but you never know. Baltimore coming forwards now for Chelsea. Options to our left and right. Plays it to Micah Hermano. Wants to come inside here. Hermano goes to Nuskin. Draws a pass out to Lucy Bronze. Bronze will dart inside. Space to exploit now for Bronze. Great run for Bronze. Looked to be brought down there by Blinker to Brown. Not given over the referee. Waves it away urgently and dramatically.
We'll check on Alexandra, who's down on the deck for Man City.
She is. I don't really know what she's doing. She doesn't.
Yeah. Throw it back.
We're all good.
Yeah.
Momentary something there. Brilliant. Oh yeah. Alexandria still down.
Well,
Cushing getting some instructions into Viviana. Meanwhile, Chelsea going close there.
Yeah. And that's what Chelsea got to take momentum. That Chelsea got to take belief. This game is still very much in the balance, and they will be hoping to avoid defeat at the very least. But a good opportunity. They've got to try and start to open Man City up a bit more like that. Find those passes through the lines. Look about that Miedemar goal. Just reacts quickest, unmarked by herself. It's a good save from Hampton initially to deny Alexandria. It's a great save. But Miedemar follows in, fires it home. Nearly put it over the bar, to be fair. But just fires it into the roof of the net.
Indeed.
I think City having discussed. I mean, Alexandria's still down, which obviously would give them a bit of a decision to make.
Because now what they're debating, what would they do? But they don't need to worry. I think they're still engaging in the debate there if they would have to do it.
Yes.
I think more debating as well who just sits in there while Alexandria is off the pitch. She is now back though into the fray. Yamashita. One back there by Nuskin now. Hermano coming forwards for Chelsea. Takes aim. It's blocked. Cuthbert will try and keep it alive here. Now Bright. Bronze. Here is Carnareed, who will drive inside of the ball. Pokes a pass to Nuskin. To Beaver Jones now, who plays out to the left-hand side here. Baltimore puts it into the box. No one for Chelsea can get a touch on it.
Wow.
And that's Blinkilder Brown with the ball. On this side for Chelsea, for Man City. Bjorn and Miedema become intertwined there. As Bjorn wins the ball back. Bright with a dart forwards. Her pass to Hamano, not finding its target. Beaver Jones takes aim. Saved, though, by Yamashita.
Baltimore firing that ball across the box. Chelsea really starting to put the pressure on now to Manchester City. City holding firm so far. But you feel like there's still more to come. This is really good play from Chelsea. Beaver Jones straight at Yamashita, but another shot on target. They're doing well to keep this pressure up. I see you're going to venture forwards themselves. Doesn't quite work out.
Carnery tries to fit around the corner. Again, doesn't quite come off. Cuthbert brought down there and it's a foul. Raw delaying that restart. Now Bright. Baltimore. Hamano just chipping a ball in towards Beaver Jones. Captain will get there as it's flicked on. Captain takes aim. Spilt by Yamashita. Connery can't get around the ball. And that is out now for a Chelsea corner. Captain got to play it across.
Yeah, Captain's got to pass that to Carnereed. It was too obvious. You've got to back your attacker in that position, and she's got a better angle. Captain as well. Yeah, it's a good save.
Doesn't look up.
Yeah.
She's got one focus and it's the goal. You can see that she just doesn't look up.
Credit to Yamashita with the way to parry that with her. She saves it initially with her left hand, then uses her right hand to just push it away from Carnereed.
Carnereed just coming in and tucking it into an empty net.
Top goalkeeping. Chelsea now really piling on the pressure.
Indeed. Corner now for the Blues. Well, wearing white tonight. Ball into the box. Cleared away there, but not convincingly by Blinkilder Brown. Hamano heads it onto Baltimore. Has to go ahead out of play. She chases it down. Throwing for Chelsea. Bronze. Hamano. Plays it back to Bright. Into Bronze. Comes off Blinker to Brown. Chelsea throw. Throwing forwards into Beaver Jones. Here's Hamano. Wants to come inside. Cuthbert tries to keep the ball but can't. Now City will look to break. Caroline. Miedema. Bright steps up well. Wins that ball off her. It bounds around a bit. Bjorn now. Bronze. Chelsea 5 minutes plus additional to sort out this tie. Hasegawa stops that ball forwards. Now City will look to break. Caroline. Chips the ball through to Miedema. In for Man City. Chance for Miedema. Pokes a one goalward. Saved well by Hampton. Flagged offside.
Another big save from Hampton. The flag goes up. But still, to deny Miedema, because 2-0 to Manchester City would have been a very daunting task for Chelsea next week. Was she offside?
Yes.
Yeah,
Looks at
think so. Doesn't matter. It's a huge save from Hampton.
Just couldn't get out of her feet, Miedema.
No.
Poked it towards Hampton, but it was never a clean strike. Still did well to generate a decent bit of power behind that.
But that's taking another minute away from Chelsea. It's not what the Blues need.
Carnereed coming down this right-hand side. Then physical up against Uwahabi. Into Captain, who looks to square it. Corner for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And a chance now to put more pressure on City.
Carnereed's looked much better tonight.
Yeah.
Best we've seen from Carnereed.
I think she needed the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm on over this one. City preparing a change. Naomi lays out. Preparing to enter the fray. Amano. Puts it into the box. In towards the back post. Unmarked. There is Captain. She heads down. Nuskin, but she heads down.
Got to do better. Got to do better. That she's unmarked the back post.
Back post. Just head it in the goal.
Yeah. Yamashita taking her time. As you'd expect her to.
But she heads it down to the turf and it goes nowhere. Yamashita is no urgency to play this full. Does now get kicked long. Bright wins the header. Looked forwards by Pryor. Basagar in there, and again she jumps in there and the player just waits for it and then takes it past her. It's happened a few times since she's come on. Now Caroline looks dangerous, finds Miedemar, chance for City, and it's 2. And Chelsea, while pushing to try and find parity, find themselves 2 goals behind. A Miedemar brace, and it's City 2, Chelsea 0. And it is a mountain for Chelsea to climb now.
Big game players. I said they step up in the big moments. That's exactly what Miedemar's come on and done. Came on at the interval and has taken the second half by storm. And City in a really, really strong position now.
Yeah, indeed. And it's Caroline's drive here. No one stops her for Chelsea. Miedemar given too much respect. And she slots it in the bottom corner.
Great finish. Absolutely brilliant finish.
For Chelsea, just like the goal they conceded against Virginio, step off both of them.
Just rolls it into the bottom corner. And you feel now, Barcelona minor miracle, the unbeaten record is gone. It's a really good finish, but Chelsea make it way too easy. Way too easy from Chelsea.
Indeed.
Viviana Miedemar, credit to her.
Lazel coming on for City. It's only the first leg, but it does feel like a lot now. I mean,
Yeah.
Chelsea can win the second leg 2-0, but it gives City something to fight for at the Bridge
Yeah.
next Thursday.
But Chelsea got to keep pushing because even a goal now can make a difference.
Yeah.
But they can't afford to concede a third because at that point, City are in cruise control in the tie. Wow. Credit to Man City and Nick Cushing, but Chelsea have been miles off the standard. Again, like the League Cup final, it felt Chelsea just got worse as they've got into the second half.
Bjorn. Right. But unlike that game, the subs have made a difference, but it hasn't resulted in a goal. Now here's Bronze. Ball into the box. Yamashita, big play.
Superb. Yamashita's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Maria says, can't see Chelsea scoring 3 against City and then not conceding again. Well, if they win the second leg 3-1, then they go to extra time. So, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I get your point, Maria.
It's a hell of a
Mano's
pass.
against that town incredibly well. Now Nuskin. Nuskin's been pretty poor sign. Not sure who that pass is intended for, but it didn't find its target. The Roadrunner, perhaps? Ball in, blocked out, Chelsea corner.
That's fine. Look, started out as 3 minutes, they went to 4 minutes, now we're not going to 5
minutes.
So keep adding on more minutes.
But he says, might be Chelsea good not to get away with it for once. Might see a reaction. Well, there needs to be. And a serious one. Baltimore. Puts the ball into the box. And that is close from Chelsea.
Bronze threw herself at it. Couldn't make any contact with it though.
Yeah. It's one of those as well where, again, the schedule hurts for Chelsea because this weekend you'd want Palace at home to get over, to go and give Chelsea a chance to. We don't want the same opponents you're playing in the Champions League.
No, you don't, but it's just Man City are in the same situation. It's horrible for both of them.
No, I know, but because Chelsea have lost here, before they play the second leg, they'd want an opponent in most normal Champions League situations where you can go and beat them by a few goals, but get a bit of confidence back in there. But instead, they've got to play City again, and again, it just adds to the difficulties that this utterly bizarre fixture list presents.
Yeah.
Ball up in the air. Ua Harvey. Bronze heading out of play. City in possession now. Ua Harvey.
Superb tonight, Man City.
Palace may smack them coming off a good win. Very true. informed team at the moment.
Play Smerrid ball, they're flying.
Oh, they need to keep flying. They've got Everton this weekend. If they can win that, they could climb out the drop zone for the first time since October, probably. September.
Yeah.
Baltimore now. Here's Beaver Jones. Baltimore. Beaver Jones. Loses possession cheaply, and now City come forwards. Roared. Blinker to Brown. Coming forwards, and that is clumsy from Lucy Bronze.
Chelsea, it's simple as that. Chelsea can't concede a third. There's no other way about it. They have to hang on in here for the last minute and a half. Because it's 3-0 Man City, and that's... It's going to take one hell of a comeback in the second leg. At least 2-0 is somewhat surmountable. But wow. Nick Cushing. He is stirring the pot.
Oh, Harvey. Now Hasegawa. Pokes on through towards Blinker to Brown. Bjorn puts it out. I think I took a nick off a Chelsea player. Well, that will be a City throw. There's obviously no urgency to take it. Oh, Harvey. Miedemar. Coming forwards for City. Beats the player. Big tackle from Bright.
Goal kick as well. Last touch count of Miedemar. Yeah, it's a really good tackle. Miedemar hunting a hat-trick.
Indeed. 20 seconds to go. Miedemar's record now 2 goals and 2 matches in the Champions League this season. Back on the stage, she belongs.
Yeah.
Bright. Plays to this right-hand side. Bronze will battle to keep it in. Ball in. Kept alive there by Chelsea, but that's not going to matter for much. As it's cleared away by City. Now Bjorn. And that there is the full-time whistle. Manchester City 2, Chelsea 0. And for the first time under Sonia Bonpasteur, Chelsea lose a game, and it's a very important one. The Champions League quarter-final first leg. With the second leg at Stamford Bridge next week. Chelsea with a huge, huge deficit to make up of 2-0.
Wow.
A messy performance, a poor performance from Chelsea. We're back in the morning to analyse it. Anything to say, Harrow, shall we call it there?
Yeah, well, dreadful, really, from Chelsea. City took full advantage, and credit to them, because Cushing has got his side playing some really nice football. That's a big win for City. For Chelsea, the only positive is that the best competition to lose a game in is one where you've got a second leg to make up for it, and Chelsea will return to Stamford Bridge in 8 days' time and expect to turn that result around. But they've still got to play each other in the league before then, so who knows what's going to happen. Man City, though, in a really, really good spot, and they will be eyeing up that semi-final place.
Indeed they will. Tough result to swallow. Anyway, thank you for everyone that's tuned in for our Champions League coverage this evening. 2 streams. Thank you again. Thank you for your support over the last 2 days. Back this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm not about. Harry is going to be live, though, for a double up on Sunday. We've got El Clasico at 11 o'clock, and then at 2:30, Chelsea play Man City again. The third out of 4. And then next week, 2 Champions League fixtures on the Wednesday. Nothing on the Thursday, so we will be at Chelsea, Man City in the second leg. So that rounds up everything from us today. Look out tomorrow for our UWCL review, where we talk about this game and all of the Champions League quarter-finals. That, though, is everything. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.